He played 3 matches at the Dragon Q on 4.5 by 9 anniversary tables, loose pockets, 200-point games.
Okay, George Fell's back with you. The next match will be Pizza Chef Supreme Bob Cozzolino, whom we've seen previously, and his opponent is one Andy Walker. And I'm told Mr. Walker is a retired fire marshal from Michigan. I don't know anything else about him, but he obviously has a wonderful head of hair, and therefore I reject him in every conceivable way. Incidentally, with that last win, Jeff Moll has now qualified as one of the 2 finalists in this tournament to go to the World Tournament for the 3rd consecutive year. So congratulations to Jeff. There will be no finals played in this meet. It's simply the last 2 guys standing are the 2 who will be sent to New Jersey. Jeff Moll will be one of those. Mr. Walker won the lag handily here. Candidly hope to bring you a little better brand of straight pool. As these finalists start to relax, I think they'll probably pick up the pace a little bit.
And he ran 160 and out on me. Now that's 200.
Didn't get any Italian courtesy from him.
He wasn't.
It's a fine opening break.
Everybody agreed on that. He was not.
2 shields the 1 partially, unless he plays the 15. I'm not even sure he has an open ball at all. 15's available, but doesn't have much of a backswing to take at considerable distance. We'll see how the opening shots frequently set the tenor of the match. Maybe he'll go for this. Maybe he'll find something more subtle to do. No, he's going to play it. And he made it. Made it rather smartly. Unfortunately, the 4-ball rolled between the 5 and 8, shutting off all 3 balls. He can still make the 12, I believe. He's going to play the 2-ball long, though. Kind of an unusual style. Notice how when inciting the shot, he puts his cue out over the cue ball. Trying to open up the 4 and 8 balls here. And he missed them, but he came away with a shot anyway. Looks like the 8-ball can be made back in this right-hand corner pocket anyway. May not have to open them up. And now he should be grateful that that 4-8 combination is there. And Mr. Walker elects a safety. So it begins with a rather passive run of 5. Hi, Jeff Carter joining me for the game. First rack, 5-0. Looks like we're in for some safeties back and forth. Certainly played that one like he knew what he was doing.
I'm not familiar with this gentleman.
A retired fire marshal from Michigan is all I can tell you, Jeff.
Okay.
I explained to our viewers that with that kind of head of hair, it's awful hard for me to get in back of him no matter what he does.
Are you going to commentate? Yes.
Stay right. Get where you want to be. And I'll get the light to you.
Bob Cozzolino. I've known him for probably almost 40 years. He was at the Midwest Open tournament, which you referred to earlier.
Was he in that record?
Yeah, he was there. That was the first time I saw him.
I didn't know him then.
He's been a straight pool player for a long time.
Makes an awfully good pizza.
That's what I heard.
I can vouch for that. Yeah, I thought I had mentioned to our audience, beside me in the booth, Jeff Carter, former top 20 player. Still probably got that kind of talent, but he's spread out so many ways. One of Beloit's favorite sons.
What is this gentleman's name?
I believe he was called Carter. Oh, you're talking about the player?
Yes.
Andy Walker.
Yeah, Andy is shoots fairly quickly.
Quickly in his style. It's a little herky-jerky for straight pool, but the balls seem to find pockets. Nothing particularly fluid. His long run is on, he claims a long run of 60, which by straight pool standards is maybe halfway up the ladder. Possibly he's used to playing other games. One thing we haven't seen a lot of in this tournament is some decent pattern position play. Been pretty much scattered all over the table here. All right, so this first rack ends. Looks like, I guess Mr. Walker got all 14.
He's left himself a makeable shot.
He's got his work cut out for him to make that ball and get to the stack. However,
Yeah.
And get to the stack efficiently.
It's doable, but it's
high risk, low probability. He's got to hit the corner ball in that the last row, or the cue ball won't come loose. See what he does with this. It's a shot that no player is particularly happy to see. So many things have to go right for you to get the cue ball loose and get subsequent shots. Doesn't look like he's interested. And he goes into the next to the last ball, as we've been talking about. When you're lined up with that ball and the fourth ball in the back row, then that's the ball you use. Otherwise, the corner ball will serve the exact same purpose.
Yeah, he actually, I think he hit that a little hard, the ball that hit the end rail and came back up into the stack. If he would have hit a little bit softer.
He'd have the rail captured, and,
yeah.
and Cozzolino couldn't do this.
Yeah.
You always want to try and capture the side and bottom rails for yourself at the same time. It's called one up, one down. Common standard of safety play. And this rack will take a little while.
This Andy, he looks like he's probably a 40 or 50 ball runner.
Well, he claims a long run of 60, so apparently he has run 40s and 50s. What I've seen of him so far, he's not looked particularly comfortable putting together the position patterns he has, but competent shot maker, and he knows how to play. I'd be willing to bet he plays more 8-ball and 9-ball than he does this.
Think so.
I think so.
Well, that's probably, you really don't see that much straight pool played.
No.
That wasn't a very good safety played there either.
No, it wasn't. And, he's trying to come into the side of the stack, but he missed it by a goodly margin.
See, now, in that situation there, he certainly could have done better than what he did, but it looked to me like he just really didn't study it quite enough and shot a little bit too
He
quickly.
didn't have a lot of feel for the cue ball in the shot. If you're going to spin the cue ball like that, you have to be able to feel it well. I don't think he has enough angle with this shot to do much with the stack, but he can draw back for the 9. Nicely done. like a little less angle, a little less, be a little less straight than he is now. He's going to play the 14 to that end. See if he can get a better angle on the 9. There it is. This is just what you want. Go right into the top 2 balls. Easiest to get your cue ball in the clear from there. I'd say he missed that by a good half diamond.
He took his time on it. I don't know why he missed it.
He's playing a little more slowly than he usually does. Everybody misses, of course, but you like to see the player at least catch the pocket jaw with his try. First 3 points of the match, I guess.
Well, he has that 5-ball cluster there in the middle of the table that he really has to concentrate on. And then he's got the 2 balls sitting down on the end rail. I believe it's the 2 and the, looks like the 10.
So he's going to play the 10 now, and if he can get on the other side of the 8 and 11, he can solve that cluster in the middle.
I think that's a 12. 10 looks like it's...
Yeah, I guess you're right. It was the 12.
Okay, so
He goes into them now, saving the 2 for his safety valve shot, and it worked out. He's got his choice of 3 break shots. The rest of the ball's open. Doesn't have any ball ready to act as a real good key ball for him, so we'll have to see how he goes about arranging these break shots.
Uh-oh.
I don't think he wanted to be there. Lucky that 5-ball moved enough for him to make it on the side.
No, he's done it.
Casual mistake.
Yes.
This is what Sailor Stallman calls nonchalant in the ball,
I think maybe he was trying to bump that 13. And,
which he didn't have to do.
Yeah. He's going to cut the 3 in now.
Cut the 3 or bank it, one of the 2. He did, too, and there goes his break shot.
Well, he's still in action, though. That's the most important thing.
We're seeing some pretty unsophisticated play here. But they all look the same on the wire.
I think possibly what he might be trying to do here, if he's going to shoot the 13 first and then...
Try and come over here for the 1, bump the 10?
Well, either that, if he doesn't get the angle, then he can... well, it's all moot now.
Yeah, that's right. Quite academic now. He did have an angle on the 1 to bump the 10.
So
off the rail.
Yeah, I thought maybe he might have played position for one of those 2 balls, and because they're both in the rack, and leave and shoot 1, and then get the cue ball in position to where you have a spot shot where you can go 2 rails around and hit the rack for his break shot.
All right, so Bob is going to leave that hanger in the upper left corner. Where do you want to be on the end rail with this ball, don't you? I don't think this is what you want. Wouldn't you rather be on the end rail with that ball?
I think so.
Bob's going to probably play this off 2 rails.
Well, it certainly is a rather fast-paced game, which...
That's very kind of you, Jeff.
If at least they're not playing slowly and missing.
They're not dawdling and taking toilet breaks and missing, is what you're saying. They just stay right at the table for their misses. All right, I believe, Bob, as I say, we'll play this off 2 rails. 1 is a possibility. 2 rails, and it's a good all-around shot. 5 rails, in fact, and no break shot.
All right, so what do you do here, George?
Well, he's probably going to come in behind the balls and take them. He's going to try and play that safety into the head of the stack. I'm not crazy about this. That head ball didn't come out too far. It worked out okay, but his opponent can get out of it fairly easily.
Just goes over to the side rail there, but I would look at the rack, look at that 312 and see if that's pointed towards the hole, which he did.
I think he's probably going to try and go to the side rail and back into the stack again if he can hit the first ball thin enough. That's what he's trying to do, and that shuts off. Well, it didn't shut off the 312. That ball appears to be makeable. Okay, Jim. And Bob Cozzolino utilized that 2-ball combination as a safety, and this will not be as easy to get out of. Looks like he's going to kick at the 10-ball. Didn't hit anything. So, foul for Mr. Walker. Good opportunity for Cozzolino here. Break shots are available to open up the clustered balls. Got a cookie to start off with. Things could be worse. Not sure the 12 goes by the 3, but it looks like it does. Now he doesn't have an angle to use the 12 as a break shot, though. Or I guess that's the 10. Excuse me. Table light's pretty bright from here. It's hard to tell the difference between the stripes. He's inspecting here to see if that 1 ball goes on the side. He needs a way to get these balls open. It's not going to be the 12 ball anymore. Still looking at that 5 on the side. I don't think he's too enthused, though. What he's going to do with this 1 ball. Obviously it's makeable, but I don't think he can do anything with the cue ball.
He might have a little angle on it where he can cut it, but it doesn't look like he's going to do that. He's just going to play safe or shoot the 5 on the side.
On the
but then
side now.
What happens after that?
Well, I think this is designed to loosen a couple 3 balls. He won't blast the stack to smithereens, but he'll get a couple balls loose. Well, he didn't make the ball, so it's academic once again. That's the only shot he left, so it's hard to know what he had in mind. Left his opponent the same 2-rail break shot that he began with. A little better angle for it.
All right, now he can either come.
I think he'll do 2 rails again. He'll do the same shot that Cozzolino tried to open the rack.
Yeah.
He has a better chance of hitting the rack, a little better angle. Yep, he went too short and in the drink. Creates a safety, but he's on the first foul. Nothing doing in those 10 stack balls. And now one more comes up.
I would take a scratch here. How about you, George?
So, yeah, I think you definitely have to make him come with the safety here.
I would shoot out of the kitchen, spin back in, and try to put him
come
down
back on the end rail.
Yes.
Dare him to thin either the 9 or 10 balls.
One of the things you always have to do, though, is you always have to really check out the stack.
From all sides.
Yes.
The 3 ball in the side pocket doesn't look too far off.
I mean, it would have even been possible for him to go 2 rails behind and come in here and play this 8. There'd be something where you would at least have to look at it. If I thought I could make it, I would shoot it.
And take a look. Those Kiss caroms come up quite a bit at the back of a rack. He's going to thin the 10 for his safety here. And I'm not sure if he got away with it or not.
I think
the 10 is makeable. It's going to be hard to do much.
it
with
looks
the cue
like
ball.
it is. It looks like it is, but then that's another one of those shots there that
He ought to be looking at the carom for this 8 ball off either of those balls. Either in the pocket to our left or the pocket to our right. We'll see what he does with the cue ball here.
looks like he's trying to go into the stack.
Well, he missed the stack.
So, you know,
Left himself the safety that he'd like to leave his opponent.
yeah.
Still think he ought to look at that head ball on the side.
So, you know, here he's almost from that distance. He's almost he's a heavy favorite to leave a shot on this safety here. So here, I might consider taking a scratch.
Looks like he's going to try and thin the 4 ball.
Wow.
Remarkable hit on the 9.
Did that very well.
That was well done. That'll be tough to.
See,
if he didn't leave the 9 ball dead, that'll be tough to answer.
That 4 ball looks like it could go off at 2 from here, but you know.
Yeah, from here, but you really can't tell.
Yeah, you know,
it's
the
easy
main
for us to say.
the main thing, the main tenet that I use when I play straight pool is and I'm in a safety game. That my main thing that I do not want to do is leave my opponent a shot. So I'll take 3 scratches in a row before I'll leave a shot. And what I like to do, say most of the time when I will have taken 3 scratches and my opponent has taken 2. And so then I'll go ahead and I'll re-break
And then try and leave him dangerously.
put him down on the end rail and then tell him he's on 2.
That's an interesting approach. I say again, if the 9 ball is not makeable,
Think he was trying to do that, George?
look that way. He sure missed the rack by considerable going in. 7 off the 8, maybe, we can't tell. We know the 11 doesn't go. But I'm wondering about 2-rail kick at the 9 ball. Looks pretty close from here. It's not the kind of thing that occurs to you first, though. We were talking about a game earlier in which the fabled Jimmy Mattia took 3 consecutive scratches 5 different times in the same game. That's a bit extreme.
And he still lost.
Oh yeah, he lost. He lost maybe 100 points on fouls and scratches, and his losing total was still 95. It was amazing.
I remember I played, back in 2002, I played Larry Neville in the finals of the Wisconsin State Straight Pool Championship. And he had to beat me twice, but the first match he won, and he beat me 150 to like minus 27 or something
many?
like that. Yeah.
Joe Balsas once lost a match 150 to minus 13. And to a totally unknown player who was never heard from again. And once again, Mr. Walker kicks at a ball, this time with less success. I'm not sure if this will cost him more than the 1 ball, however.
Well, you think he'll go for this? Excuse me.
I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to send the cue ball 3 rails around the table into that cluster. It's down to 7 balls now. You don't have to blast him to hell and gone. This guy's got a pretty good angle here. I didn't hit it anywhere near hard enough. And he came in long. I wonder if the 2 ball can be made. Either as a carom or cleanly. No.
Looks like he gave up the 7 ball.
I can't tell from here if you can see the 7 or not. I guess you're right, he did. That was not a particularly good safety. I think he meant to stick the ball on the 6. Uh-oh. No, that was generous. No, we've been seeing players do this all night, come off the rail into a cluster, and I continue to believe that is a mistake. There's just so many things that can go wrong, starting with coming in under all the balls like this. And then you have to come with a hard shot when you've got all the balls open. Round and round they go.
He put a little bit more draw on that, what he thought.
Yeah, I didn't see him intending to come all the way back to the side rail. I don't think so. Hit the bottom of the end rail with that try. The 15 is available as a break shot just as it lies if Cozzolino can find a way to play around the 3. Almost obligated to begin with the 4 ball up table here. Or save the 4 for a key ball, and it's not a very good one. Looks like he's going to go from the 6 to the 3 to the 4.
What do you think? Nerves? Nerves, George?
It's partially that, and partially that he's not focused on pocketing the ball. He's focused on where the cue ball was going to land. You've got to decide one way or the other. As it happens, he didn't get real good position for the 4 ball anyway, although what he would have had is malleable. But he wouldn't have been there had he made the ball. He'd be farther up table, farther down table towards us. Score at the moment is Mr. Walker is in the low 20s, and Bob Cozzolino has 13. This is going to require touch draw. He's going to go to the rail and come out again. Use a bit of inside to kill the cue ball.
Yeah, you see, when he hit that, the cue ball actually kind of died when it came off the rail.
Yeah,
there.
That's why I think he used inside.
Call me if you can wake off.
Okay. All right, George.
George, we'll see you next.
See you again.
Drive
Be
safe.
well, George.
That thing, send you.
Drive safe.
Somebody will drive him home. He's had too many drinks. You gonna drive to Wisconsin like that too? He's a big boy.
I believe the score is 26 to 13,
26 to 13 sounds right.
which would take into account 3 scratches.
3 fouls.
I remember when I was a kid growing up in Beloit, we played straight pool all the time there, and I got to the point where I could add any combination of 14.
13, 1, 12, 2, etc. Yeah, you become expert at that now and then. It's not a wildly marketable skill, however.
I was fast, though.
Yeah, it can be done fairly quickly. Let's see if he's sophisticated enough to hit this soft. He did okay. You'd like to be a little closer to your work than this.
Yeah, at least he's not on the end
He's
rail.
not on the end rail, and once he makes that 5 ball, he does have other shots available. So this run can continue. A lot of players that fire at the 1 from here, but the 5 is a more conservative approach.
The pocket's a little bigger, I think, because you can actually miss it just like
Just
he did.
like that, yes.
And,
These 2 pockets nearest us have been very permissive tonight, and the 2 pockets farthest from us have been the ones where balls have been hanging up.
Okay, so now as far as I'm concerned right now, I mean, he really needs to slow down here and try to figure out some kind of way that he's going to break up that cluster. I mean, it could be, you know, that he's shooting that ball, then he'll come for the 3, then he could play the 1 on the side and stop it and play that 4 ball and break them open. Possibly.
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 Possibly. I wouldn't want to see him play the 3 here, because most straight pool players believe you should leave a ball on the bottom rail until all the others are open. That worked out okay. Got the 7 either on the side or up table. I don't think he has a firm plan for breaking the remaining 6 clustered balls, and I don't know if this ball's even going to get there. Just made it. That's the right speed, the speed that just gets it there, as long as it produces something productive. Okay. Now he does have a break shot in position, so we'll see if he's able to preserve it.
Well, he's still got problems.
He's going to probably try and bump the 6 with this shot, so he has the 4 ball next. Or maybe get on the other side of the 6 and 11. He got there.
You know, he hit that absolutely perfectly. Whether he was trying to do that,
he got there by the grace of God. He could have gotten stuck on the 6 just as easily. This is perfect now, and 4 and 9 come next. He's got his break shot in the clear. Doesn't have a real good key ball. The 12 ball is awkwardly placed.
in fact, I would say that that 12 ball is probably going to. There's a very good chance it could be his downfall.
Well, he has to get up table, but he certainly wouldn't want to shoot from underneath it. He's going to take it off now if he stays on the table, and he does not. So the 12 ball will fall to Mr. Cozzolino. The ball comes up.
So he actually played it all right.
Not bad. He didn't
also
control his speed.
Well, I think he should have played obviously a little bit longer than that, or he could have pulled it 1, 2, 3 rails.
Yeah,
I think instead of coming straight across.
Either would have done. You don't even want to flirt with a side pocket if you don't have to. Now, because of where the pocketed ball is spotted, Bob has natural position off this 12. So the 2 ball should be a break shot for him. Nothing standing in his way. He can even manufacture a break shot on the other side of the table if he wants to. Short. Now he either has to bump the 9 or go around the table for it. And he's going to bump it. No, now, we've been saying all night he has 2 break shots left, and you're not supposed to do that because one rarely gets you good position on the other. He'll be able to do this with draw, but it could have been a little more precise.
Well, it looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, this will be all right. 9 ball is down a little lower than he'd like in order to send his cue ball into one of the 2 corner balls on that side, but he can let his stroke out on this one. He's going to take on the interior balls anyway. He's going to need some little extra vigorish.
He's got 4. So he's got 17.
17, it looks like
35.
35, okay, with 4 fouls so far. And as Bob Cozzolino racks the balls, our viewers can see the kind of hairline that I can get in back of. He played that shot with draw, which is interesting because the angle he had suggested follow.
get pretty good spread there.
This is pretty fair. You know, the only 3 balls clustered near the head spot look to be the only problem.
Oh, you got a little. Yeah,
I wasn't watching the shot real closely. I thought he was playing the combination. The 1 goes by the 15. He's all right.
I think he's going to have to hit the rail a little bit.
You know, the pockets have been allowing that. Probably use the 6 to open up that 3-ball cluster.
Now that right there is what you call cheating the pocket.
Yes, and cheating it rather visibly too. But the controlling factor is the speed of the object ball. If it doesn't have enough speed to get to the second pocket jaw, it's going to fall. If it
That's
does,
correct.
then it might wobble.
Actually, the way I like to phrase that is that the softer you shoot, the bigger the pockets are.
No, that's a good way too.
The harder you shoot, the
narrower
smaller the
they
pockets become.
And you got to use the center. The great Buddy Hall says if you use the center of the pocket, doesn't matter how nasty the jaws are, but that isn't always possible. Now, notice how the 13 and the 15 are problems because they're blocking the corner pockets from many balls. They need to be dealt with. You always want to open up pockets to the 2, open up paths to the 2 bottom corner pockets because that's where the majority of the scoring is done.
Now, it looks like he kind of hooked himself there the way
He's probably going to have to play the 5 in either pocket.
He needed to follow that
And
shot just a little bit.
Just a little bit to get the 13 next. That's what I was saying about problem balls. 5 could be made in the side if he wants it there. And it's probably a bigger advantage to play it there than in the corner, which would pin him against the right side rail.
Well, that cut there looks like he might have to turn the cue ball loose a little bit, but oh, he does have a shot.
If you can see the 13, then that's all anticlimactic. Okay. It's all right. I think he'll probably bring the cue ball back in the direction of the 15 and 2.
See, in doing that...
Oh, he's shooting the 15, I mean the 13 and 2.
Yeah, and in doing that, he could also knock one of those balls up by the side pocket, creating
Better key
a
ball.
potential key ball.
Which he has on the left side now. But that's not the ideal side of the table for a right-handed player. Looks like he's going to set his break shot up over there, though. The 5 ball gets him to the right place on the 15, and can finish this up.
Going to follow the 7, shoot the 2, and then the 12 on the side.
12 on the side. That was pretty generous right there. That ball hit the rail at least a diamond away from the pocket.
Yes, it did. And he also didn't hit it hard enough.
No, he's got to play with the edge of that ball, and he may even want to come around the table and get back to the center.
See, now if he would have on that
with too much reverse English, now he doesn't get any break shot.
on the shot that he shot on the 2 ball on the end rail, he hit it too thickly, so that killed the speed. If he would have cut it just straight in the hole, cue ball would have gone farther down the table.
Absolutely.
So a lot of times, you look at guys, they might have made the ball, but they missed the part of the pocket that they wanted to hit.
Yeah, yes, and it sounds like splitting hairs, but which half of the pocket you score in is very important because it affects the cue ball path. Wobbling that 2 ball in, as we pointed out, cost him his break shot position, ultimately cost him his break shot position. I think our viewers can probably tell that Mr. Cozzolino plays a considerably more sophisticated game of straight pool than Mr. Walker, but it's wise to remember that the game doesn't award any style points. Balls count as balls no matter how you make them. And we still got a close game here. 31 to 33, is that? 31 to 35? 31 to 35.
31-35.
All right. So we'll have a safety battle for a while here. Well, that was the right approach, but you're not supposed to bring the ball out loose to allow an escape like that. The ball is pocketable, although there's no great benefit to playing it as such. You can't get a second shot out of it. This is the right thing to do. But again, this is an escapable safety, and the best safeties not only leave your opponent shotless, but in a predicament where it's difficult for them to return the safety. He doesn't have to mass this in order to get the effect he wants. Low right will accomplish the same thing. He's going to mass anyway. Half mass. Very nicely done.
Yes, very nice.
If that 7 ball cannot be made.
Combination of 14-7.
14-7. Looks like it would be a Kiram. The 14 into the stack, into the 7. From the angle he has, if he chooses to shoot at all, it doesn't look like he wants to. This is way better.
Well, what do you think, George? He shoot that 9 ball?
I predict that he will, and I don't predict success. He's pretty eager to play offensively here. He's going to try it. Hit it pretty fair. It's a little bit outside.
It looked like it rolled fairly straight down there, you know, and he did hit it on the outside of the pocket.
Yes, he did. That particular pocket jaw has not been of any help to players. Balls have been standing there for the last 4 matches. Looks like the 13 is fairly close to being on. Can't tell from here.
I see
Gonna take
the
hanger off now.
sign there says Red Shoes Billiards,
Yes.
which is where we are,
in
Chicago, and I would say
Alsip, actually. Yes.
Alsip, and suburb of Chicago, and one of the nicest pool rooms, if not the nicest pool room in Chicago.
Certainly the top action room. Has no competition in that regard. You can get played here at any level.
That's right. I think he does a nice job in here. He takes care of it. He takes pride in it, and the place is clean, well run.
There are no negatives about Red Shoes.
There, he slow rolled that one, just like the last one, but that one went in the hole.
That one went in the hole. He could use that 11 ball up table as a break shot if he wanted. It's kind of cavalier. So
Has
he
to-
could
has
get
to
a
be
good angle
careful.
on it to come back down, come back down table. He's not even going to take it now. He's going to shoot the 6. I'm not sure I understand this, why he wants to leave the 11 where it is. Now he's having trouble bridging. Another half diamond miss. So both players remain in the 30s. Cozzolino adds 3 balls.
Yeah, 34, 35.
35, 34 now. Favor the incoming shooter. Probably going to use this 14 to separate the balls a little bit, don't you think, Jim?
Well, certainly, and then he'd have the 7 ball there. Well, he's shooting the wrong shot now, as far as I'm concerned.
It's not the first time. He'd have been better off taking the 14 there.
And yeah, and going into him, and then
And
if
then
he
you
gets
have an
tied up.
insurance ball. There's no
Yeah,
insurance ball
yeah.
here. He got what he deserved out of that one.
2 ball was straight in the side, maybe.
Not even close, and he's frozen on it. He's in jail. I don't think he can get the cue ball to the 3. The game is swift to punish you for your mistakes. There's nothing to be done here except bring the cue ball down to the bottom rail that I can see.
I wouldn't even do that. I'd just take a scratch here right now.
I mean, look at
What's he
that,
doing, banking that cross corner?
Yeah. Free hand bridge. Hit it too bad. He didn't turn the ball enough. He was hoping that his right hand spin he put on the cue ball would transfer some left to the object ball. That rarely works. You don't want to spin balls in.
Well, he definitely took a chance, Sarah, that's for sure.
Well, it's pretty reckless, but there was no way out between those two balls where he was stuck. The angle on the 11 was a little better before, but because of where the 4 ball is, he really doesn't figure to use it as a break shot anyway. Draw back for the 5, see what he can do with the 5. He didn't have to draw.
He's playing for the 4.
Play for that 4.
5
Break
will,
these balls open softly.
5 will be his insurance ball.
And the 10 or 1 will be his break ball. If he doesn't overhit this.
You're right, the 1 ball.
1 ball came out.
If I could make either one of those 13 or that
13 ball looks like it's going to be
10.
dead once the 5 comes off.
Oh, yeah.
Or, but he can get on the other side of the 10 and play the 10 in the opposite corner too.
He
Just
didn't hit
barely
that
got
very
away
well.
with
He should have
that.
pulled it up a little bit.
He either didn't hit it low enough or firmly enough. Still in business with the 3 in the side, I guess. Pretty sure that if the 13 isn't dead, it's certainly makeable. You can even use the 2 ball. So the 7 on the side is a safe choice here. At the right speed, the 10 ball will become a break shot here, maybe even a better one than the 1.
At the wrong speed.
Now he's going to have to reclaim it now going 112 in either 10 or 2. He didn't have to do that. And he drove the 2 ball a little farther up table than would be useful.
Yeah, well, I think
he can still get on
shoot
it,
the
though.
12, stop it. You know,
Now
okay.
he's going to draw it back. As we were saying before, the problem with these side pocket cue balls is that you have to land right where you
Perfectly.
need to be.
If he would have played position for the 2 up in the corner, he would have known what type of position he was going to get much more reliably.
And they had to guess, and he lost his break shot. Cozzolino wins the frame. Looks like 12 balls to 2. He got a close game. 43 to 37, it looks like. And a brief break for Mr. Walker. Don't miss the chance to check out Red Shoes next time you're in town. It's a pool room that should really be seen. $43 for Cozzolino, 37 for Walker. Nothing doing here, so they'll probably play this ball as a safety or play the ball for score and then safe into the side of the rack. Now, he's not quite directly in line with the 6-9, but he's probably going to use the 9 ball for the safety anyway.
So I hit that pretty much how you're supposed to hit it.
Now that's what you want. Now he's got the bottom rails and side rails both captured with object balls. The concept known as 1 up and 1 down. So his opponent has to guard against both those balls, and it's not going to be easy to find a place for the cue ball.
Unless Andy takes a scratch, I predict he will give up a shot.
He's going to be hard-pressed to deny his opponent at least a long one. First thing that'll occur to him is probably to be a leave him long and straight on the 9 ball. That's what's readily available from where he is. And he's going to try and stop the cue ball there. This isn't easy. 1 ball came out and nothing went to a rail. So that's open shots plus a foul. Double felony.
Did you lose 2 for that?
No, just 1.
Okay, just checking. It's been a while since I played straight pool.
Yeah, 1 point plus some respect. Depends which is more important to you. Bob's probably trying to think about saving that 1-9 for last. It's a little early to think about key ball and break ball right now. I think if I were he, I would play the 1 on the side and plan to re-break with the 9 here.
Yeah, I think so too. And then he's
Then you got the 12 and 2 for safety valves.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's doing this. I can't justify this in any way. He wants to get on the 6 ball, but there's time to get on the 6 ball.
Well, if he knows he can make that combination, and then he could pull back right where the cue ball approximately is, and then he could shoot the 1 in the side, 9 in the corner, and he's got a clear path to go into those balls. Where
he has 15 inches between the 2 balls for the combination, and that's an awful lot of space for my money. I think this is the right shot right here. The 9 takes him right into the 3 in the ball next to it, and he has 4 balls down there for insurance. He's playing this correctly.
wow.
Got the benefit of the doubt there again with those draws. But the desired speed left him the 4 ball up table now if he wants it. Or he could play the 12 and then use the 4 to re-break. Take advantage of the 10-6 here. No? Wrong again. He might have taken advantage of the 10-6 here, or he can break him up now.
It's hard to tell from here.
Looks like it goes, but he's going to break him up now, so it'll be academic. Didn't follow through quite enough. This is a quandary because he has no ready way to kick at that 6 ball. Except the 1 pocket kick way up to the end of the table by the pocket jaws, and it's odds against.
He could go off that. Is that the 12 there?
You're talking about the billiard?
Yeah.
That's pretty subtle. I don't know if he can see enough of the 12 to do that. Looks like he's trying to do that billiard you were talking about. Sort of a modified forced follow attempt. Nah. Didn't have the right angle on the first ball.
Plus, I think he hit it a little bit too hard, too. He didn't give the cue ball, time to follow through.
Right.
It kissed off and went on its tangent line before the follow had a chance to kick in.
To take effect, right. 8-13 is very close to dead here. Certainly playable once the 7 and 6 behind it are gone. Should probably give some thought to drawing this ball gently and knock that stripe off the 3 ball. He's not going to do that.
Now here, I would at least look at that 14 to see if it goes in the side.
I think he's going to come off the rail into the balls like we've been telling our viewers not to do. Be very lucky to get away with this. That was really poorly played.
And if anything, I would think he would have gone back into the stack instead of trying
That's
to.
what I thought he was going to try and do instead of three railing around the Rosie. Maybe he's trying to get on the 14. Rushed that shot something fierce. It went in the wrong pocket.
It's really hard to make a prediction watching.
When a guy doesn't know what his next shot is, it's hard for us to know, is what you're saying. We can speculate as to what he might have done, but we're seeing a bunch of remarkable shot selections. Looks like he has to begin the side pocket here. No, he's playing 13, and it went. Got lucky with the 5-ball down table. Sometimes a little luck goes a long way in this. Should be killing the cue ball here.
Uh-oh.
Not that badly. He killed his whole inning. But I was looking for him to use a little inside English to retard the cue ball's angle of rebound. I don't think he did. So both players still in the 40s. A close, if not particularly scintillatingly played game.
Thank God it's almost half over, though.
Yeah, there's always that. I admire your ability to find the silver lining, Jeff.
Nothing personal.
No, I know we wish these players well, but we wouldn't mind seeing the pace picked up in the least.
Actually, I think the level of play has been about the same with Karabatis and Jeff Mole, who I think are both better players than these two guys. But the level is...
I would say Karabatis and Jeff Mole are the two best players in the field, but I could only give Jeff Mole a modest nod over Cozzolino. There's a time when I played both of them even.
What do you think it is, George, why pool has such a hard time making it into becoming a more mainstream sport?
There are a number of factors. For one thing, the stigma from the Depression is still with us. We could really use a Schwarzenegger, and by that I don't mean a player who is well built. I mean somebody who could raise the sports level all by himself, as Schwarzenegger did for bodybuilding and the Beatles did for rock. We don't have that player right now. Our best players are not particularly interesting when you take them away from the pool table. I know how snobbish that sounds, but I'm trying to answer the question as candidly as I can. Most of their stories end up with the same dreary punchline, so then I ran out. People outside their world really can't tell what they're talking about in the first place. We have so far to go. And the reason you don't see men players on television, whereas you occasionally see women, is that the men simply don't know enough about business to approach the networks for a workable deal. The men's attitude is, somebody put up the money and we'll come and play for it. Mm-hmm. And the women are willing to go out and look for advertising and create windows where they can sell advertising, so that women's televised tournaments, as rare as they are, usually turn a modest profit. It's very rare for a men's tournament to be profitable.
I agree. I also think that if you talk, say for instance, like a professional golfer, and they get sponsorships by companies and stuff, because basically the executives of those companies, when they decide
they play golf themselves,
they play also, and then and when they have a conversation with a professional golfer, 99% of the time they don't sense any educational barrier.
No,
okay?
They don't, and that's
right.
always there with pool.
and so you can take pool players as soon as they open their mouth. The majority of them.
You're ready to dismiss what they have to say, or sponsors will.
So I call it like the invisible wall, because they might dress nicely, but as soon as they start, well, I think they don't. I don't think they dress as well as they used to back in the '90s.
Well, there were dress codes then.
Yeah, and like I was out there in Las Vegas playing the U.S. Open, one pocket and a 10 ball, and the guys out there playing in blue jeans and t-shirt.
Yeah, and hats.
Yeah.
Well, these are all factors that hold back respect for the game. We really desperately need a way to convince the public of what great fun this game is to play well. Not just play, but to play well. Playing the pool at an advanced level, you're playing a totally different game from what the average Jamokes play. And it's great fun to play. But we need to find a way to communicate that, and we need a charismatic player who can cross the bridge to the masses. And because our players come out of poverty, or in the case of American players, laziness, we just don't have that kind of raw material to work with. Steve Miserak was not that interesting away from the pool table, but the commercials made him seem so.
Yes.
So as a result, he was more memorable as a player than anybody else we've had since Moscone. But you still stop people on the street and ask them to name 4 pool players. Number 1, they're going to name Jeanette Lee. And number 2, they're still going to name Minnesota Fats. As phony and as dead as he is.
Yes.
And after that, they're going to name Willie Moscone, and then it's going to be that guy in the beer commercials. And after that, they're out of name players.
Well, if I were to ever become involved with running a tour, one of the things I would do would be give all the players English lessons.
If you think they would take. I've been trying to tell them since 1989 when I was the guest speaker at Mike Siegel's induction into the Hall of Fame. I tried to explain the audience you guys are seeking to make this game a success have all been raised and educated a certain way. They're used to hearing the language a certain way, and when they don't hear it that way, not only does it grate on the ear, but they throw their hands up in the air and say, well, what do you expect? That's a pool player. We have champion pool players whose grammar is frightening. My friend Jim Rempe is among one of the worst offenders. Good guy.
Yes.
But I wonder how he got through high school with that grammar. Even one of our best commentators, Dan DiLiberto, needs to be weaned from ain't and he should have went. He makes himself clear, but when you represent the game, you have to walk a little bit taller. It's a high school graduate who should know better. And meantime, this game continues apace, if you can call it that. He should be drawing into these balls now. Not a great shot, but that's what he should be doing unless he wants to save the 6-10. Well, I called one right for a change. What he wants to do here, I would think, is use the 12 to separate the 5 and 9.
Well, I think that whatever it is that he does, he should spend a little bit more, or spend some time
planning, yes.
planning instead of just shooting the first ball that he sees.
He's not taking any walks around the table, as is highly recommended. Not looking at the layout from all 4 sides. He's looking for the first open shot that will lead to another, and that leaves him with some homework to do. Mr. Walker shoots well, and his basics don't appear to be very bad. In fact, they're fairly good, but he's got quite a bit to learn about straight pull.
He has a randomness to his game which really hurts him.
His game is almost totally random. So if he plays that 8 ball, he's not going to have anything when he's done. He might as well get the 3 out of there. It's causing nothing but grief. Good thing the players can't hear us. Make the 3 ball, but notice that with 6 balls left on the table, he has 2 problems in the form of 2 2-ball clusters. You should be able to read his plan from here, and you can't.
I wonder if that 9 goes in the lower right-hand corner.
It looks like it does, but he doesn't have real good position on the 3 to get on it now. He went behind the other 2 balls. That's not too bad. The 15 will leave the 6 as a break shot, but it leaves him considerable work to do. Make the 15, go 2 rails with the cue ball, and get the 1 ball next. He hit it too hard by a factor of 5. He got pocket hooked.
Well, he just drew the. Well, instead of going 2 rails on that like that, I would have gone 1, 2, 3 rails and over like that to come into the ball instead of going away from the ball.
I think he needed to pull the ball a little closer to the right-hand corner pocket to get the 2-rail route he wanted. But this gentleman's game is 1 shot at a time. Another half-time miss. Better hope that covers the 1. I don't think it did.
No, I don't think so. He can make the 1. Well, we're
Making
moving.
the 1 will move the 9. We're still in a mystery as to what the break shot will be.
He's moved into the 50s now. He has 54.
I think the correct verb would be trudged.
Well, we got to be. Come on, George.
He trudged into the 50s. I don't want to hear you copping out about high school dropout. Now you're a sophisticated man.
All right, he slogged his way to 50.
He slogged into the 50s, yes. And that was nicely played, and the 9 ball is still viable. Those were 2 good shots.
The way Andy plays, he plays at a good pace.
Yes, he does not dawdle over the cue ball. We could say
The only
that on behalf of his
the
game.
one thing that he needs to do, though, is when he's in a situation where the balls are tied up, he needs to stop.
He needs
and
to
try
think
to
ahead and
figure out
all
some kind
the
of plan.
ramifications of shots.
And then once he gets them open, you know, he's actually got a pretty good rhythm.
Yeah, his playing pace is not bad at all.
He's all right here. He
So
just
it looks like we're at 55, 54, or 54 all, is it?
52.
54, 52.
So he has to be careful here because it looks like
Not a whole lot of angle to this. He can take
he
on the
could come
head
off
balls.
the top 2 balls and scratch over in this. See, yeah, well, he hit it.
Going into the balls
Full.
at that angle is risky, but one of them came loose enough that he can proceed. In fact, the 2 gets him to 15, which opens up that cluster, so this is a nice way to proceed. But I would rather have seen him bring the cue ball back towards the center of the table, because that's where you have the most options. Bob Cozzolino should have been in the finals before this. He narrowly lost a game to Ed Latimer that he should have won. I think 14, 5, 11 would be the plan here.
And then roll down for the 6 for the break ball.
No, 14, 5, and use the 11 for a break and save the 3. I think that's what he would like to have done with the 2 ball, but he hit the 2 ball a little harder than he needed to.
He says he would have got a hold of you, he would have torn your card.
So I kind of like that 6 ball because now we can come right up into here.
And have the 3 ball for a
Yeah,
for
and so,
insurance,
you know, it'll open up a little bit easier. He's got a nice little pocket to hit in there.
He needs to move the 9 and 11 balls with this break shot. Then he'll have either the 7
So,
or
yeah,
3
come off
next.
a little bit off the touching the 11 and then hit the 9.
Right. Well, he
He's
didn't ever hit
fine.
the 11
He's
at all,
fine.
but he's okay. The 9
He's
is
fine.
his break shot.
No, he's got a problem here with the 4-ball up at the end rail.
4-ball at the end rail.
And then the 15 over here on this rail here is a little bit of a problem too. So I think if he gets on the 4-ball, he should be considering trying to get on that as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you like to see him take the balls up table off earlier rather than later. Usually the earlier the better. Ball up table does not figure to help you, and you might as well get rid of it. 8 in the side would be a nice ball to play position with right here. Doesn't seem to want to do that.
Yeah, he's a little jacked up over that 7, or else he probably would.
Well, that's not bad. Not bad at all. Gets him nicely to the 15 ball, and then the 15 gets him the 7. Ooh, my.
He hit that too full again.
A 2-rail bank, and he could have come farther up table had he made it cleanly.
Killed his speed on the cue
That
ball
was his,
because
that
he
was
hit
his
it
plan,
too full.
because he hit it too full. Not sure about that. Got away with it, the dicey shot on the 12, but he didn't have to go 2 rails with the cue ball that time. Mike Siegel is a big proponent of 2-rail position in most pool games, but I believe you should do the easiest thing that's still productive. You can go 1 rail where you don't have to go 2. That's what I like to do.
Well, sometimes going 3 rails is easier, you know.
Sometimes 3 is easier than 1. All depends on what the situation calls for, but he did not have to go 2 rails on that last shot. Shots were available with simpler routes.
It's like when he shot that, he
Overcut
really
ball by 3 feet.
didn't have a plan when he shot that 7-ball come around 2 rails.
He should have planned it better. In between the 1 and 13 would have been the way to go.
Okay, he now has 62.
He's in the 60s, so we've got 62 to 54 at the moment with 5 object balls remaining on the table. We'll see how he deals with the 12 ball here without ruining his break shot.
Well, he
This
could
is the
shoot
right way to do it, is by shooting the 13 first, then he doesn't have to worry about running into his break ball. Another calls for another 2-rail position shot, but in this case it's justified.
So, you know, if he
And he
would
even found a way to go 1.
yeah, if he would have just rolled down a little bit farther on the ball previous to that, he would have been able to just float the cue ball through and have a little angle on the 8 for the side pocket to pull it over to the left.
Well, if he's straight into the corner, he only needs to draw back about 18 inches or so. No, he didn't get any angle on the break ball.
See, there you'd
And
rather.
that's an important mistake he just made now. You cannot break the balls with this shot, and the 1 ball is lying ideally for a break ball.
Well, see, that's a
It's
simple,
a lost opportunity.
a classic example of if you rather go too far than not far enough.
Absolutely. This is like leaving men on 2nd and 3rd here. That 1 ball should be far more valuable to him than it is now.
So I think what he'll do right here now is he'll shoot the 1 in, stop the cue ball right about there, and then go
Play
into the
safe
side of the rack.
rack.
Try to put 1 on the end rail, 1 on the side rail. Gotta be careful. Well, this thing started out way up here.
That means that nut is loose. They can tighten that for you, though. I don't know, that's altogether the wrong thing to do, and he got away with it in a modified way. He has at least 1 more ball.
Yeah, and if he shot that shot, he's certainly going to shoot this 8 with high right-hand
High
spin.
right hand and try and re-break him. He better hope he goes into the 12 and the 13 because there's no other way for him to escape the pack from this angle.
Oh, he's going to place. It looks like he's.
Thinking about playing a safety. That would surprise me. I think your first prediction is correct. He played it with high right, but he didn't get serious about going into the balls.
He would have had a little hit
How
a
about
little.
that 5-9? I wonder if the 5-9 will go. That's what he's looking at. They're close enough together that maybe the 3 would act to throw the shot on line. That's what he's looking at. What he does with the cue ball will be fun to watch because the left-hand corner pocket beckons. We'll see. Shot does make more sense than the loose 12 ball. While we're in this lull, Jeff, have you been able to do any welding and pipe fitting and such? I know those are your trades.
Actually, I just started working over in Whiting, Indiana, which is right on the Illinois-Wisconsin state line, on Lake Michigan.
Wait a minute. If it's Whiting, Indiana, it's not on the Illinois-Wisconsin line.
I mean Illinois and Indiana state line.
Yeah.
I just started working this week.
Ah. Yes, right then.
Working at a refinery, welding pipe.
Jeff is a Beloit native now living in Sullivan, is it?
Yes.
Half an hour from the popular Lake Geneva. Mr. Walker chose that combination shot. Missed it by a goodly margin. I guess Cozzolino will use this.
See, now you notice here he's got a nice little pocket for that cue ball to hit in.
To go in between the 3 ball and the other ball. I was thinking he would use follow rather than draw. But he has shots open to the left side pocket. Depending on what he can see, the 2, 7, and 4 all go in that pocket. That's the first shot he's hit firmly in quite a while.
Yeah.
He'd love to save the 14 here to nudge the 11 ball here to nudge the 2 and 14 apart. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do that or not. This combination shot is tricky. Overcompensated just right. Now the 11 is no longer the ball to use to break up the 14 and 2.
Now, right here, I'm not exactly sure what he's thinking.
Or if. He's got to play this with a little right-hand draw, whether
And-
he uses the bridge or not.
And shoot the 4 in the side and roll down for the 3 and the 6, possibly.
I think that's the plan that makes the most sense. Didn't come back quite as far as he would have liked. He can go to the 2 bottom rails off the 4 if he likes. Not sure that's as productive as it might be. Maybe he can still softball this ball in, even though he's on the wrong side of it. That's what he's going to do. Oh, the 6 is available. That's okay.
Yeah, I think the 3 might be available too. I don't know. And then
Well, if the 3 is available, he could open up those 3 balls now. The 10 will serve as a break shot if nothing else will. Looks like he's choosing the 3. So, and he did. He just didn't go quite hard enough to drive the 14 out of the rack area for his next break shot, but he's still okay. Come off the rail for the 11 ball here. He'll be all right. Hurry up, Whitey. And came up short again. A little short again.
Yes, if he would have gone a little further, then he would have had 3 simple stop shots, approximately.
Right, and now he has to bunt the balls more, whereas he would not have had to if he could have lined up straight with the 11. Now, got a very Very fortuitous roll there, and now he has a better break shot than he had before. But he's got to pocket the 10 without moving the 12. Looks like high left would do. Can't shoot the 2 now. Too close to it. Would you prefer high left here? Try and get in and out of there without touching the break ball, if you could.
This situation here, I really don't like it that much. I mean, there's no logical.
If he makes the 10 there, it's going to be awful hard for him to get back to the 2.
I would just shoot and try to come back over this underneath that. Is that the 14?
Oh, he cut the ball on the side. I don't know if it's going to avail him anything or not. Well, if he can cut the 10 in, he'll be all right.
Well, he's gonna go around the table now probably, or at least up the table and then cut the 10 in the lower right-hand corner for his break shot.
That was a wild choice.
Yeah.
10 doesn't represent much of a break shot from any place. He's looking now to see where he wants to shoot it from, but it's not going to be any bargain no matter where he winds up.
Well, if he gets a good angle on it, the shot might not be that
close to
difficult.
Where the 14 is now.
Yeah, along that angle.
Yeah, on that line. That's what he's playing for.
Okay.
Have to come in from behind the balls and attack the fattest part of the rack. Always carries a risk. But happily, the score now proceeds to the 70s.
74.
74-56,
yes.
It looks like. He's going to want a cue ball to contact the 9 ball here coming off the bottom rail. It's okay if he hits the ball next to it partially, but he's got to get part of that corner ball or the cue ball will not come free.
Now, he's got to be careful here because if he hits right in here,
If he hits the interior balls, he's likely to stay there.
he could come off, and come down over here and sit down on the end rail.
He's going to try and go from the 10
He could
to the
scratch
9.
too. He could scratch off the back of the rack.
There's just too many things to control and too many variables. So
See,
he tried to finesse the shot and nothing came out far enough. He's got an easy safety. But he could have made more hay out of that break shot.
If he would have hit more over to the left a little bit more, where the cue ball would have kissed off and gone over to the side rail.
That would have been fine too. So 3/4 of the way home for Bob Cozzolino. And by now we've seen that this is a game he should definitely win.
See, I was thinking the score doesn't make that much sense, but 56 is 4 racks and 70 is 5 racks. And so how can it be
Well, then one player has fouled 5 times and another one 4.
9?
A total of 9 points lost. Either that or they've made mistakes.
That's kind of what I'm
Yeah,
thinking.
scorekeeping isn't our job.
Yeah, that'd be a total of like 9 scratches in there.
Yeah, that's right.
Left him straight in.
A little over-optimistic with that combination shot.
See, so right now when watching Andy, I see 2 glaring weaknesses. One is his safeties,
Right.
and the other one is that he doesn't, when it's not obvious what it is that he should do.
He's shy. He has trouble with shot selection.
Yes.
Maybe it's good that he's retired then and he has time to learn. I think Bob may have a dead shot in here in that 14 ball. Yeah, he just called that. Free chance to open the ball. He's very lucky the 12 came down with him. He needs some center table here, however achieved.
High right, spinning around, you shoot that.
8 in the side, maybe? Or
Oh,
the
the
12
other,
in the
the
side,
stripe,
12 in
the
side.
striped one, yeah. So you get that out of the way so you can shoot the 1.
And the 8 and then the 1, right. He may have another dead shot in the 2 and 3. He doesn't really need him because he can play break shot position with the 1 or the 9. 1, I guess. Yeah, the 9 is in the center of the table.
Kind of wonder what's going to happen here.
Well, he needs to contact the 3 ball. I wasn't looking for him to do that. Now he can re-break with the 4, but he still doesn't have a real good break shot. The 5 or the 6 will do, but they're both kind of low.
6 is in the rack, I think. 5.
Now he's got another problem.
Yeah, he's creating problems as he's solving them.
I think he's saving the 2-3 because it is dead, like I said. Maybe play position for the 11 on the side here. Now he's going to open the 11 ball up. That's okay, too. The right speed, he can even get the 2 ball in a break shot position here if he needs to. Doesn't need to. Save the 9, the 11 will be last.
See, now his angle right there is funny now.
Right, he should be another ball with either higher or lower. Got away with it though. Now a lot of players here prefer to shoot the 11 and save the 2 ball. You achieve 2 rail position around the 2 ball. It's a favored play of DiLiberto's.
Yeah.
If you get straight in on it, you can always leave the cue ball in the stack.
Oh, he hit that very well.
Hit that nice and firmly.
He's got a nice fast pace here, too.
Bob is finding his confidence here. He recognizes that he's
I believe he has 99.
89 now.
Oh, yeah, 89, sorry.
89 now with a good break shot. He can go right on the game from here. Shot very comfortable. It'd be all surprised to see him get out here. Doesn't need the whole rack.
I'd love to see him run out.
Shouldn't be hard. 6 and the 10 appear to be available.
It'd be like
now.
25 and out if he runs out.
That's all. I thought he'd run 2 racks. You might be right. In this game, that's 100. Use the 1 ball here for a break shot if he wants. He's going to go for the 5. He may use the 7 to get on the 1, or he may break with the 7 now. It doesn't look like he's going to break with the 7. Going in for the 1. I guess he's going to have to draw the cue ball here. Just enough so that he has the 15 ball next.
11, I think it is.
11 or 15. Wants to avoid running into the 10 here, I would think. Like I said, avoid the 10 ball. Or maybe not.
Now he's got to make a ball.
Now he's got to shoot. It looks like the 13 up in the corner is his only choice. If he makes that, it looks like he has a dead combination on the 14. Or he'll have that 10. He hit
Nice
that,
shot.
stroke that with authority. That was well played.
He can shoot the 10,
Shoot
shoot the 8.
8. Sure. That's what he's looking at. Maybe even looking to see if the 12 will go.
He needs 4 balls.
Right. 3 are open now. He has a dead 14 ball. No obstacles, except those he creates for himself. So your daily commute will be from Wisconsin to Indiana?
No, I'm staying down here.
You're staying down here?
Yes.
That makes more sense.
It's too far to drive. It's not so bad. It's not that it's too far to drive. It's just that it takes too long because
Yeah,
of the traffic.
and the traffic, yeah. I mean, I live on the north side of Chicago. I don't enjoy the drive out here. So Bob Cozzolino stops 3 points short of game. And we'll see what Mr. Walker can do from his position of 56.
See, now he's got himself stopped.
And once again, he fails to take a look around. He's just looking at the first ball he sees.
See, he didn't mark up because right now it shows him needing 4 up there, and he only needs 3.
They've been talking about a point missing on one side or the other all night.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That last shot was played like a real hacker. We got to hope for help from the jaws with that one. And we should be looking at the end of the game now. Bob can take the 3 balls closest to him. And unavoidably comes victory. So that's it.
All right. It went by fairly quickly. It didn't take as long as I think it was going to.
Once I got to 50, it was fairly smooth. So Bob Cozzolino over Mr. Andy Walker. And I believe we have just one more match to determine our other finalist.
Well, George, I enjoyed it very much.
Jeff, pleasure to have you here.
Okay.
Come on back. Good luck with the job. Good to see you again, buddy.
It's good to see you too.
Stay healthy.